apologising in advance, I've got a really bad cough, so I might just cough into the microphone. I'll try not to. But okay, so my name is Subira Wahogo. I'm an unashamed lefty, fiercely feminist, so I love what you were saying about feminism, furiously anti-racist, queer and black. So that makes me an angry black woman. And being an angry black woman in left circles means that you hear a lot of excuses. Things like, you need to focus on the bigger issues, or come the revolution, oppression won't exist. Hearing that coming from white, straight, male comrades is of little comfort. I'm beyond sick of lefties sidelining and compartmentalising and downgrading my issues, so it is really encouraging to see the Left Party platform specifically and overtly committing to addressing all oppressions as genuine issues, not just an afterthought or fringe problems to be dealt with in a token caucus. So it seems like marginalised people's identities aren't being treated like a secondary issue. This looks like to me the beginning of a truly intersectional fight back. For those of you who haven't come across the word intersectionality, it's an ever more popular concept, and I hear a lot of people throwing the word around without really considering what it means theoretically or in practice, so I'll try and explain it a bit now. So the word intersectionality was coined in 1989 by a black woman called Kimberly Crenshaw, and essentially it's the study of the interactions of multiple systems of oppression or discrimination. So to quote my sister, it is the not so new, not so radical idea that all oppressions intersect, and that to be successful in fighting any one oppression, the others must be taken into consideration and fought alongside. This means that to fight one oppressive force, you must consider the others and how they interconnect. Intersectional analysis means you're considering the whole system of power structures from the start, not as an afterthought. You literally cannot fight capitalism without fighting classism, racism, disableism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, all of the multitude of oppressions that prop up the sick system in which we live. So, for example, it's not offering a white feminist movement to black women. It's creating a movement that works for everyone from the start. It's not having a conference with one meeting on LGBT oppression, whilst the other meeting studiously ignore homophobia. It's having a conference where speakers and comrades will address the heterosexist and cis-sexist assumptions in the meetings where it's an issue. It's not an anti-fascist organisation that fails to account for women's suffering. It's an anti-fascist organisation that sees women as people equally deserving of justice. So Left Unity is particularly encouraging to me because from its very inception, it has been very clear to make sure to include and be accessible to disabled people for a start. The Left Party platform is explicitly clear about being intersectional and fighting all oppression seriously. And I honestly believe that this is the only way to effect real change. I mean, we've seen, you were talking about being in the SWP, so was I, we've seen very recently how revolutionary left parties have destroyed themselves by not checking their systemic misogyny, amongst other issues. So we need a broad left party because marginalised groups are sick of brochure lists and manichists deprioritising our identities. We need an intersectional party because we're sick of lefties sneering the phrase identity politics, as if tackling the very oppressions I face because of the various identities I inhabit is silliness or not real politics. But I'm not going to celebrate the positivities of the Left Party platform too much yet, though, because we mustn't fall into the trap of patting ourselves on the back. We've got to be constantly checking ourselves and the work we do, because it's too easy to think that because we recognise that inequalities exist, we're never, ever going to be guilty of perpetuating them. So, as a young person, relatively new to politics and probably a lot less experienced than most of the people in this room, I shouldn't already be so bitter and disillusioned. It's kind of depressing. And, you know, as a young person, I know so many people like me who are sick of the failures of the left and have been let down and attacked by left circles and parties who have previously championed us. These are young people who need to throw themselves into a real fight back. And the Left Party platform seems to be what we need. Like, here's an approach that seems like it's going to get us somewhere, the right kind of thinking and the politics that the young left need to inspire us and support us. And no offence, but I'm sure as we all know, we need young workers and students to ensure that movements don't stagnate. I believe that the Left Party platform has started off right. This is not a platform that is only listening to the voices of the male, pale and stale. We're on the right track and we need to throw ourselves in at this point. This is all fresh and new and exciting, and we absolutely need to make the most of what, with everyone's enthusiasm and cooperation and with intersectionality at the forefront, can become a truly brilliant, successful left movement.